Oops.
Hey guys, welcome to Timeless Mysteries. I know it's been a while. We've got Andrew here from the Unforbidden Truth podcast also. How's it going, Andrew?
It's going good. How you doing?
Pretty good. I hope everyone is having a great Sunday. Next weekend is the 4th of July. I don't know that I'm going to be doing a live stream next week. What are you doing next week, Andrew?
Sorry, this message just popped up and said they're having message streaming to my destination. Next week I am.
Actually, that's to my Substack. I don't know why it's not. I'll just take it off. It should stream. It's streaming to your channel. No problem. Hey, Molly. Hey, Olga. How's everyone today? Yeah. Hey, Cuff You. It's been a while. I know. I came up with this big, long thing to kind of explain everything. I just don't think I could say it publicly. But, this case, Chris Watts especially, it's one of the first cases that I've ever fully researched. It's the one I've spent the most time on. I've put countless hours into finding out more information on this, and it really, this case especially gives me nightmares, and I've taken a big hiatus from talking about it. So I've got Andrew here, who's going to help me talk about this case today. And Andrew, I was just asking you what you were doing for the 4th of July. You got any big plans?
No, I work the 3rd, but the 4th, probably just going to watch fireworks. Well, I guess I work the 4th, 12 a.m. And then I'm going to watch fireworks that night, and that's pretty much it. Just low-key hang out.
Yeah, I've got a 3-day weekend. I could totally do something, but I think I'm going to try to go fishing. I do live in Alaska, and I've been fishing when I lived out in the village. It's a lot different. You just use a big net, but a friend of mine goes fishing all the time. I just bought some waders so I can climb out into the river and fish.
You ever go ice fishing up there?
Ice fishing?
Yeah.
I've never gone ice fishing.
I imagine Alaska as
you can. It's just really cold. You have to have like a shack thing and a heater and a big drill to do that. I've known people who've done it. Well, let's see. Anyway, so yeah, guys, we're going to be talking about Chris Watts today. Before we get started, I'm going to play through his, his, after he confessed, after he, took his plea deal, he's talking to Tammy and Agent Grahm Coder, and, we're going to kind of go through that pretty much as start to finish. We may not finish it all, but that's the plan. I'm just looking for one other thing. Man, I used to be more organized when I got started with these. So Andrew, what do you know about this case? I know you told me you don't know a lot about it yet, but what do you know?
Yeah, I know. I know they were calling him the new Scott Peterson at first, and I wondered why. And didn't he kill his wife, and was it 2 or 3 kids?
It's 2 kids, 2 daughters, but he had a
barrel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. I've tried writing him a few times, but he won't write me back. Um, I would love to talk to him, but apparently he's like all religious now, and I don't even know if he would talk about his crimes at this
As
point.
far as I know, he has talked to people. What was her name? Last name Cadle. Cuffy's trying to figure out who you were, Andrew. And then as soon as I typed it, she's like, "Oh my God, I just saw it at the bottom of the screen."
Oh,
So, um, yeah, this case is a difficult case. And the problem that I have with it is that this guy, he's not a monster. Like when you look at him, when you hear him talk, everything about him is just normal. And then what you hear that he does is just so awful. It makes it really hard to let go of the case. And I've talked about this case so many different times. Um, it's just gotten to the point where, the more I don't know. This case gives me nightmares, and that's about the simplest way that I could explain why I don't talk about it that much anymore. But what we're gonna listen to today is, Agent Tammy Lee, and Agent Grahm Coder from the Colorado Bureau of Investigation are they're doing a post conviction intelligence interview. This isn't, an interrogation. You know, they're not trying to get a confession anymore. They're not really interested in looking for new information about the case. What they're really looking for is they're trying to study how he constructs his story, and what he thinks actually happened. Everything that he actually says in this interview is, in my opinion, a fabrication. There might be some small pieces of it that are actually true, but everything that he's said when he did the porch interview is different from everything he said, in his like interview when he took the lie detector test. And uh yeah, Cuff, you, I know you really like this case. I just struggle with it. The more the more that I know about the case, the more I think about my own life, the things that I've been through, and how, I could have easily been, buried in a field somewhere, but would anybody have actually found me? You know, when I was going through that kind of crap, I didn't have a friend like Nicole Atkinson who called the police right away. Nobody would have noticed I was gone for, weeks. Just to give Andrew kind of an idea of what actually happened. Chris Watts had married Shanann Watts. Um, his family didn't really like her. They had two beautiful girls. She did Facebook lives with her family. She presented her family in a way that, you know, it was just a loving family. Everybody, she had the big house, she had the nice car, she had all of the things that everybody wants to have. And that's what people saw because she posted it on Facebook. Her daughters were absolutely beautiful and funny and cute and interesting, and smart. And so it just makes the what happened next all the more horrifying. Um, Chris Watts had been struggling financially. They'd already filed bankruptcy. They were about to file bankruptcy again. He was, he'd been overweight and he had started working out, and, somebody at work noticed him. That was Nicole Kessinger. And that turned into this whirlwind kind of romance thing. Suddenly, she's telling him that, hey, you can be you can do all of these things. And, she's feeding into his ego, and he's thinking that, oh, well, if I could just get rid of Shanann, then my life would be great. And I think that's kind of what was going on before the murder happened. There's a lot of speculation that Nicole Kessinger played a part in this murder. There's a lot of red flags in the interview that she had with the police. There's a lot of unanswered questions. There's a lot of like little things that stand out in the case that made it into discovery that makes you wonder if maybe she was some sort of participant. As far as I know, the state of Colorado never pressed any charges and don't suspect that she had any involvement. You know, I know Cuff You would argue against that because I've gone down that rabbit hole. Like the whole Nicole Kessinger thing is insane. And it will make you go crazy if you think about it too hard. So the night before the murder, Nicole Kessinger and Chris Watts have this 2-hour phone call. It was actually 111 minutes long. And shortly after that, I think it was that phone call ended at about 11. Shanann got home at like 1, if I remember right, it was really early in the morning. You could see her come through the house through the door cam. And that's the last time that anybody saw Shanann Watts alive. What happened when she got inside the house, nobody really knows. We've heard Chris Watts give numerous different versions of it. We've heard other people who are close to Chris Watts give other versions of what really happened, and since there's so much media attention on this case, Chris's story has changed several times over the years. There's a book out by what's her name, Sherilyn Cadle, where in the book she says that Chris Watts tells her that that Nicole Kessinger was a part of it somehow. I think it's just, I don't know, and this case is just, the worst part is that there's video footage of the man putting his wife's body in his truck, at least loading up his wife, possibly loading up his wife and his 2 daughters into his truck. He may or may not have had somebody with him, and he drove out to his work site and tried to bury them in the field. I think that it was actually, the ground was too hard. He couldn't actually dig deep enough. So instead of putting the children with the mother, I think he thought it would be a great idea to stuff them into the oil tank. And I think that he put one in each tank, not for some cosmic, plan for the afterlife, but just out of caution. You put something inside of one of these things and it gets clogged up, people are going to, figure out what the clog is. That's why I think he separated them. I don't think it has anything to do with what everyone else thinks it was for. The story that he gave initially was that he didn't murder his children until he got out to the oil site. And the part where he says that his oldest daughter says, "Daddy, no," is one of those things that really haunts me, because I kind of believe that part is true. I don't know if it's true where he says it happened or how it happened, but I believe she said it at some point. And then over the next few days, immediately, Nicole Atkinson, Shanann Watts's best friend, calls police and asks for a welfare check. Within hours of her not responding, she missed a doctor's appointment. So, I mean, this is an odd situation because in this case, that's what got Chris Watts caught. But if you think about it, if one of your friends doesn't answer you in a text message, you don't immediately think, let's call the police and do a welfare check. Um, Nicole Atkinson must have like been talking to Shanann, and I think she said this that she was Shanann had been saying that Chris was acting weird. She was afraid of him. Things weren't going well, and so whenever she doesn't show up for her doctor's appointment, because her friend Nicole Atkinson actually called the doctor's office and said, "Hey, did Shanann show up?" Well, she found out no, she didn't. She calls the police come out, and then Chris Watts comes rushing home, pretending to be the worried husband. And over the next few days, he does, interviews with news channels, and he's, trying to state how much he misses his family and he just wants them to come home. And, anybody who watches that footage of the news report, like whenever they show him on the porch pleading for his family to come home, you can just tell. I don't think it's just you can tell because now. I think it's you could tell at the time, because I remember seeing that, in 2018. I remember seeing it on the news, and I turned the channel because I was like, oh man, another guy has murdered his wife. I mean, it was weird that I did it like that. Like I think I can't remember who had done it previously. Maybe it was the Scott Peterson case. Is that right? I don't know. I
Yeah,
think there was
yeah.
something else in the news around that time who had murdered their wife as well. Um,
Well,
you know,
Peterson was like 2000. He was like a while ago, like
yeah,
10
I
plus
think it
years ago.
was too soon, but I swear there was something else in the news like relatively close. Maybe not the same year even, but it in my mind, I remember the day that I said, "Oh my God, another guy killed his wife," and I turned the channel. I remember that specifically. Um, and you could just tell. I mean, I could tell anyway. Um, So, when the police come out, they don't find anything. They talk to the neighbors, and while he's watching the neighbors, what is it? The CCTV stuff, footage of him. You could see like they zoom in. So, the video shows the guy's driveway, and then it zooms in and you could see Chris Watts's truck pull up into the driveway, and you can see him walking back and forth. And Nate says, "Hey guys, he's acting weird. He doesn't normally park his truck there. He doesn't ever back up his truck like that." And, so immediately everyone was suspicious of Chris Watts, and he thought he could get away with it. Um, he ends up getting interviewed by the police a couple times, and then he takes a lie detector test. And Tammy Watts comes out and says, "Hey, Chris, we got the results. We know you did it. You can tell us the truth now." And then Chris Watts says, "Hey, let me get my dad." He gets his dad in the room, and then while the camera's still rolling, he actually whispers what he did to his father without the detectives in the room. And I mean, it just kind of like ended from there. Meanwhile, Nicole Kessinger is being interviewed, saying that she can't remember what they talked about for 111 minutes. She can remember what he made her for lunch whenever she went to his house one time, like 3 months ago. But she can't remember what they talked about at all. Nothing, not even one sentence of what was said that night for 111 minutes. And that's where the suspiciousness comes from, why people suspect Nicole Kessinger had something to do with this. And shortly after this, Chris Watts takes a plea deal so that he doesn't get the death penalty. He confesses that he did it, and then the investigation is over. So there are a lot of people who are angry that Nicole Kessinger didn't get investigated further. I am one of those people that think that there was more to her than what we know. But I don't know. I kind of go back and forth, and I feel like everything that I know about her specifically is more or less, you know, what everybody else speculates. It's not. I mean, I know the facts, the things that don't add up, but it's it's hard to say for sure that there was actually any involvement. And, I kind of have drawn this line in the sand for myself that I won't say that she specifically did anything. Um, I just don't know. I would like to know. And that's where my line is on that. So, Cuff you, thank you. So today, what I wanted to actually, try to get through is the 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 interview, the post conviction interview, and I want to listen to what Chris Watts actually says, and kind of dissect it. I would say maybe some of what he says is true, but he's lied so much that it's almost impossible to know what actually happened. And I believe that is the main reason that people get caught up in this case and they just can't let it go. There's just got to be more information. There's more things that we need to know. I mean, there's just, I don't even know if Chris Watts knows anymore what actually happened. For all I know, he is like morphed his memory into this, movie in his head, and that's how he relives it. Or maybe he's blocked it out. There's a lot of things that
I don't think so.
um,
I don't think you could. I don't think you could forget something like that, or
well, the mind is a powerful thing. It protects us. It has it has defense mechanisms in place so that we can survive. So in that regard, that's what I'm talking about. I think that he could have possibly blocked it out, or he could have possibly altered his memory in some way. Um, but I agree. I don't think I could forget exactly what happened myself if I had done something like that.
no, yeah, definitely.
But psychologically, there are safety mechanisms built in to our DNA that do these things. Um, so that is basically the Chris Watts case in a nutshell. So I'm going to go ahead and start playing this, and then Andrew, if we get to a point where you'd like to talk about something, I know you've actually interviewed lots of killers, and I'm pretty sure you can pinpoint when there's BS and when there's, when they're actually telling the truth. If you happen to like hear something, just let me know, and I'll pause it and we can talk about it.
Okay, sounds good.
Actually, before we start, is there any questions that you have about this case?
Not really, no, not that I can think of. I mean, I know a little bit about it because I've researched him like a little bit, but I don't really know like the in-depth conspiracies and all that. I know there are conspiracies that he's innocent and he was framed, and there's a whole little like, I mean, he has fans or groupies, so
He definitely has fans. There's this place on the internet known as Watts Island, actually, um, and it's
that's
kind of
crazy.
scary. Yeah. But let's see. Looks like we got a couple people new people in the chat. Hey, Valerie. Hey, Olga. Hey, Tori. Hey, Jennifer. Hey, Cuffew. I think I've already said hello. Molly, are you still here? All right, guys. If you guys have questions, put them in the chat. Please hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. And you can also go to the Unforbidden Truth podcast. Check out Andrew's channel. He primarily interviews killers live, and he's really good at it. So I really highly recommend you go check out his channel as well.
Hey, Chris.
Chris?
Do you remember us?
Yes. Yes. Okay. I see it. I just took a moment there.
You
Good
look
to see you.
different.
They, get a haircut every 2 months. So just to buzz pretty much everything off and all that. So.
I'm trying to think, did you have a tea last time? Okay.
They have like a little single blade razor, so I just kind of, you don't like go past the stubble. You just kind of.
Just do the best you can, huh?
You just gotta go with that.
Yeah. How are you doing?
I'm okay. How about you guys?
Good.
Good.
I did not expect to see this. That's for sure.
Surprised.
Yes.
Well, let me put some fears aside. We're not here for what you might think we might be here for.
Well, they didn't know what that's a computer room. I was like, I didn't know we had a computer room.
Without computers.
I am going to stop it just for a second and just point out that they brought him into this computer room, and it's full of empty cubicles. They already had the recording devices set up and everything, and that's what they're talking about right now. And this is the post-conviction intelligence interview.
Exactly.
So you remember, I talked to you, Tammy talked to you, Dave talked to you. We're all from Colorado. And so the last time we talked to you, it's a different situation, right? Our investigation was open and your case was open. That's completely different now. So your case is completely closed. Nothing about what we're going to talk about today has anything to do with an open investigation. So we're not here to get more charges on you or get any statements from you that are going to jam you up anymore, right? That's all done. So all of our cases are closed and the court case is closed. So there's nothing that we're going to talk about today that's going to get you in any type of trouble at all. And so I wanted to make sure you knew that's not why we're here.
Okay.
But why we are here. So the three of us work from three different agencies, right? Quite a bit different. CBI, FBI, and Frederick PD. Different goals. And the things that happened with you kind of all brought us together. And as the months have passed on since everything happened, we just keep in touch with each other. We keep talking to each other. And we've all separately kind of said, did Chris seem unique to you? And me and Tammy have talked about this, Dave and I have talked about this. Did Chris's situation seem different to you? And we keep having that conversation. We can't quite put our finger on it, right? We think that your life leading up to all of the things that happened were very interesting to us. And for me personally, I don't know if you remember, but one of the last things you told me was, hey, Grahm, I'm sorry that I started lying to you. And that stuck with me for the last couple months. It's been raked in my head, right? I've never, ever worked a case like this where someone told me that, never. And so as I walked away, I thought, Chris is different. Chris is a little bit unique in that regard. So in talking with Tammy and talking with Dave, I said, what did you feel like when it all went down? When we were there, we were talking to you guys, and we all kind of, in our own different way and in our own different wording, said it all happened a bit too quick for us, right? So when we saw you last, we were talking about your family, about your parents, about everyone. And then the next thing you know, for me and Tammy and for Dave, all of a sudden some patrol officers came in and arrested you. And that was far quicker than we had hoped it would happen. And you understand why that happened, and we understand why that happened. But it left us with 1,000 questions that we didn't get to ask. And then even more importantly, I think it probably left you with 1,000 things that you didn't get to talk about with us. I don't know if you feel that way or not, but, and so that's why we're here today. We wanted to kind of talk to you a little bit more about everything, I think there's a lot of things that you didn't get to talk about. And so that's why we're here. And it sticks with me that to this day, there's not one person that's told me, I saw it coming. I knew Chris was like that. I knew it. Not one person. So it's interesting to me, right? No, not one. So we want to talk a little bit about that. Some of the people that we work with, your family, Shanann's family, have said, if you get to talk to Chris, would you tell him something for me? So we have that to talk about today, and it's good. I think you'll like it. I think it will give you some closure. And so really that's why we're here. Are you available to talk to us?
Definitely.
Okay. All right. So off the bat, if you have any questions, just tell us.
Okay.
If there's something that you don't want to talk about, that's okay. We might press you a little bit. Okay, we might say, well, do you mind if we just maybe then ask one question? If something makes you uncomfortable, just tell us. If we need to take any bathroom breaks, we can take bathroom breaks. For anything like that. And we'll take bathroom breaks and water breaks ourselves too. So then, is there anything about your schedule today that makes it that you can't talk to us?
No, there was like a pass for this and the AM and the PM.
Okay.
They reserved the room the whole day,
Oh,
just
okay.
in
That's
case.
just what they do.
Okay. I didn't
Yeah.
know if that was like two separate things or something.
I think you have to go back for lunch to get counted for or something.
Oh.
Accounted for.
Yeah, I think
11:30.
lunch was like 11, but they're counting like 1:15. So
So in general, how is it here?
it's a lot different in Colorado.
Is it?
It's
Good or bad?
it's better, I think, because it's here. I'm actually around other people. In Colorado, it was just like I was segregated, and it was like counting all the walls all night, screaming, and just telling me
From other people?
oh,
Really?
they're just telling me like how I should kill myself and like what they're gonna do to me and just like all that kind of stuff.
Oh.
And it was today. This is a lot different because people here don't seem to. It's not like they don't care, but it's just kind of like they don't like judge you as soon as you walk in. Colorado was like they knew why I was there and that was it. They were just like if they had 1 second on hold with me, it would have been
Really?
they would. Yeah.
Gee, man. Must be out then.
Out of like what kind of jail? I don't know what it was like, and
So, Andrew, I know with your background talking to lots of people in prison, what do they say about that? Chris is talking about how when he was arrested and he was in jail in Colorado, everybody was like threatening him, but he went to a bigger prison in another state and nobody's really like harassing him. Is that something that happens? Like, is that something you see?
Well, he's what you call an interstate compact inmate because he's in Wisconsin now, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes.
So he's an interstate compact inmate, and interstate compact pretty much means you get transferred either if you like request it and they have like a cell or bed open, or if you're like a snitch or like high profile and you're like they want to save, like they want to protect you or the security. Like if somebody's assaulting the security, they're going to send them to a supermax or something like that in a different state. But there's like a list of different states that primarily are like interstate compact inmates. I forget what states they are. I know Wisconsin is one of the biggest ones that they go to, but I forget what you said. What was it? Do they get harassed and
I
when they
mean,
get
yeah, like when they, I mean, yeah, what he's describing is, he was like, they were telling him that he should kill himself. What they were going to do to him. But he said when he got to the bigger prison, you know, he wasn't harassed in the same way. So I'm just kind of curious, what that actually looks like. And is it more common if you're like in your home state prison versus going somewhere else?
Well, the only person I've ever talked to was a dude named Darwin Godoy. He was he was a participant slash witness in like a triple or quadruple homicide in a robbery, and he's actually an interstate compact inmate. And I asked him, like, does he get harassed, whatever, and he said the only reason he gets harassed is because he's a snitch. Like, that's the only reason he gets harassed other than that. So I'm not really sure. I can't really say because I haven't talked to many people that have, like, been interstate compact inmates because it's really rare these days to get transferred to a different state. Like, you have to be like Gary Ridgway, he got transferred to the AdMax Colorado, where, like, Larry Hoover was and the Unabomber and stuff, but he's back in Washington now.
Yeah, it sounds like to me what he's describing is that he feels safer in this other prison, and maybe
Oh, yeah, I can
he
only
is.
imagine.
All right,
Yeah,
so I'm
because
gonna
in
go ahead and
Colorado, you gotta think, like, she has friends, family, they have friends and family, so on and so forth, and Colorado's not that big considering the prison system is, like, pretty small if there's so many maximum security prisons there, like, and there's a lot of people that don't have things to lose or people that wanna make a name for themselves too on top of that, so, he probably is feeling safer in Wisconsin.
yeah, this
Actually,
is one of
I
those.
know a dude that's locked up right now, and he's seen him, and he said hello to him and stuff, which he hasn't really replied to him, he just, like, looks down and just keeps walking, but he's at Dodge Correctional right now, this guy that I know.
Yeah, maybe we should talk to him, see what it's like watching him walk by, even if he doesn't talk to him. But I was gonna say something. Oh man, I totally forgot what I was gonna say. Um, but I'm gonna go ahead and keep playing this. This is pretty lengthy.
DOC there, but like, they had to lock down the jail for me to walk down the hallway.
Wow. It will.
Mm-hmm.
So they had to make sure you were completely separated from anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez.
Wow.
Like, I didn't see anybody else there. Like, I was in the cell next to somebody, but, like, I never saw them.
You just hear them.
How did they know who you were?
I don't know. I just they make phone calls in there too,
Oh, okay.
and they got the newspaper in there before I got in there. So
Yeah. How's have you been able to talk with family
oh,
members?
yeah, definitely. Like,
Yeah.
we get from 6 p.m. to 7:30. That's our on my unit's timeout. So we get used to going at that point in time.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
And do they charge you for it, or?
Oh, it's just like it's like Securus or something.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And how do you make money to pay for that?
They put money on the phone.
Oh.
So if I call, like, if I was like to dial somebody's number, they have to have like a phone account set up.
Oh.
Otherwise, it's just restricted.
And then so the who you call pays for it?
Yes.
Oh. Okay. You've been able to talk like family members and parents and all
Yeah,
that?
my mom and dad, my sister.
Okay. Good. Is that a good thing?
That's a good thing. Definitely.
Good, man.
Yeah, they don't hear from me. They're like, "Oh, what's wrong? What's going
Oh,
on?"
good. And how was it with them?
So far, so good.
Yeah. Yeah. It was hard to hear your parents in sentencing.
Yeah.
I didn't know what they were gonna say.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. And so, yeah, I really appreciated what they said. I don't know about you.
I definitely it was. I didn't expect them to be there. I know they were there on the 6th, but I didn't expect them to fly back, and they wanted to fly back for that. So.
Yeah. And then what your mom said.
Definitely.
Okay. Good. Well, so we have 1,000 questions. I'm sure you do too. Do you care if we start, or do you have any questions for us?
Go ahead.
Okay. All right. So one of the things that we're battling with is, and I won't make any assumptions today. So, are you aware that this was a national story?
After a little while, it was. I didn't talk to my parents while I was in Colorado.
Okay.
Because, my attorney team told me, all right, no phone calls, no letters, no nothing.
Okay.
So, like, I made one phone call when I was in the segregation area there, but my dad thought it was like somebody, like a news,
Oh.
somebody trying to call him.
Oh.
So he didn't answer.
Yeah, so he didn't answer, but other than that,
Okay.
I didn't talk to anybody, but from what some of the deputies were saying that, or my attorney team coming in and said, this is like, they've got people from Australia, England, and all kinds of people trying to figure out what's going on. So,
Did they send you any of the letters, like fan mail or anything? Well.
I got letters, but I couldn't keep them. like with me, so like I could read them like I'm an hour out, but it's like, you know, I got a bunch of just letters that had no return address and stuff that was just, you know, not very good letters.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. They came from a weird perspective, didn't they? From what we have heard.
definitely, there was one person, I guess, from Broomfield that was like writing like 4 times a week trying to come visit me, and then there was just a lot of people like writing that was like leak through markers saying, you know, like you're a monster, you know, all kinds of crazy stuff.
All right. Well, we're going to talk about some hard issues today, but I don't intend to take you to a dark place today.
Okay.
I hope that when we're done, you'll feel better. I hope it'll be therapeutic. We're going to talk about, obviously, what happened with your family. And so that's going to be hard to talk about. I appreciate anything you can tell me about it. If you need to take time out, if you need to get a tissue, that's fine, right? I think it'll be very good for you. It'll be good for us. And so one of the reasons I asked about that national attention is we were aware that you were getting a lot of letters, a lot of interest, and then us personally as law enforcement, we got so many people who claim to have known you, claim to have been with you, dated you, slept with you, and 99 times out of 100, they were just crazy people, right? And so maybe that's a good place to start. Had you heard about any of that?
John Walsh, he told me about some dude from Wyoming.
Yeah.
Trent?
Yeah, that guy, that blew my mind. I was like, who the hell is this guy?
And who told you about that?
Attorney John Walsh.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do you mind if we talk about him?
Graham and I interviewed him.
You had to?
Yes.
Way in our lives.
Yes.
So Trent, in summary, Trent came in and said, met you online on a dating app, had a few, casual but quick sexual encounters with you. And let me be very clear. Not only are we not here to jam you up today, we're also not here to judge you. And if there is anything like...
Hey, Cuffew, have you actually found out anything about this guy Trent that they talk about, or Olga? I know you guys probably know more than most people about this case. There's a lot of rumors that came out of this conversation because of this guy who supposedly just made it all up. But I mean, has anybody actually tried to find this guy and find out what he actually said?
That you can imagine we've heard way worse, way different, so if it's true, I hope that you can just casually say, yeah, I mean, this happened, it wasn't as bad as he said, but maybe this happened. So his story was met online, met you, and it was a time when you were experimenting with maybe men. And so he said he met a couple times, met his friends, went to an apartment, had a couple of meetings in a parking lot, and then that was basically it. Any of that sound familiar? Okay.
No, I never. Okay.
Okay. All right.
And he talked about being in your truck with your girls, like the whole 9 yards. So.
I've never even been to Wyoming, let alone.
See, I've never known his last name, Trent Bolte or Beloit. I don't know how you say that. Yeah, that's crazy. And I mean, it would be even crazier. Could you imagine sitting there interviewing somebody and then this guy comes in and says, hey, this thing happened. I mean, I can't imagine
Wild.
if that's weird. I don't know if I would have just laughed about it like Chris does. It's kind of weird that anybody would just make that up, and especially since he's married and Bolt, Trent Bolt. It's crazy. This case, what I was going to say earlier was, this case immediately got a national attention. So, I mean, it was crazy media coverage, from the very beginning. And I think that's why he probably struggled in Colorado in prison there.
Driven out there to see somebody.
Yeah. And so this is maybe a weird question for you. Do you have any gay experience?
No.
Any interest?
No.
Okay. Never had a time, experimented, wondered?
No.
Okay. Is it possible that he found you instead of you finding him?
From what John told me, he just found me on like a WhatsApp.
Yeah.
I don't even have that app.
Okay.
I mean, he has my phone, so
Okay.
you could probably,
Yeah, we know.
you could probably saw what app I had. But I've never even heard of the app. But
Okay.
apparently, like he told me, like I met him through like a rehab center or something.
Is that what he said?
No, that was another guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was totally. I no idea.
So did you see a picture of him on the news or anything?
John showed me a picture of him.
Okay.
He was like, well, this guy, I'm like, John was kind of, making fun of like, you know, sure.
I wish I could
Like,
find
So you
that.
saw it and you were like, no
interview.
way.
Yeah, I was just
Big
like-
lips. Did you see his giant
Yeah,
lips?
it's just like, I have no clue who this guy is.
And he's somewhat memorable. I mean,
Yeah.
If you met him or talked to him or got to know him, you might remember. He was kind of meek,
Yeah.
but also a little bit flamboyant. Yeah, he did fake lip, or not fake lips, but injections.
Uh-huh.
He was very into skincare and makeup. And he mentioned that one of the times, just as a gift, you got him some skincare products. Does any of that sound familiar?
No.
Okay. You can imagine all the stuff we're dealing with. Okay, so that's one. Trent Bolds. There was another gal that you were dealing with.
Amanda McMahon. Have you ever heard that name? No.
Hmm.
John showed me a picture of her.
Okay.
Oh, you did see a picture of her too?
Yeah, he had like. That's the same.
True.
Yeah,
Does that look familiar?
that's the same picture he showed me on the
Okay.
MSO one time. I was looking, I was like, who's that? He's like, oh, you don't know her either? I
Yeah.
was like, no.
Yeah.
He said it was like a Chick-fil-A parking lot rendezvous or something.
Right.
And that's just not true.
That's what she's claiming.
Okay.
Only went to one Chick-fil-A in Colorado. That was the one in Broomfield, Highway 7.
Okay.
That was it.
Okay.
Chick-fil-A
Um,
parking lot
feel
rendezvous
comfortable
sounds
enough
like a
today
plot
to
to
tell
a
us if there were
romance
other people?
novel.
Yeah, it was just Nicole.
Okay.
Yes.
That was it.
Yeah.
Okay. As these people have come out, for the most part, we've not given their stories much credit. They're just crazy people who want attention. And so, but when that does happen, it does make us think, there may have been others. And so Nicole was the only one.
That was the only one.
Was there ever like a one night stand with someone else just out of the blue and one and done?
No.
Okay. All right. Do you mind if we talk a little bit more about Nicole? So walk me through it, because that was one of the things we never really got to ask you about.
Right. We didn't
We just
talk.
kind of skipped on and talked about where the girls were. But so what happened there?
So it was probably around June 1st or something. That's when I first met her. And it was just like a work conversation. She messed with the gas meters that, we were out in the field. And then I was messing up, and then, I took it to her like, hey, what's going on with this? Like, how do I fix it? And, after that, we just ran into each other a few times in the office. And I think it was probably the fourth time meeting. She had asked me, because like when we were talking back and forth, I would say, like we moved here from Colorado or from North Carolina and stuff like that. And then she's like, "What's all this weed stuff?" I'm like, "Oh, I took out my phone and showed her a picture, like my girl's on the phone." She's like, "Oh, okay." She's like, "So you can-" like, yeah, like, I didn't wear a ring at work because like I something else to get refitted when I lost all that weight. So, but
You lost so much weight that your fingers lost weight?
yeah, it was literally like I was out in the snow one time. I went like that. And my ring went off on the rocks.
Did he just say your fingers lost weight? Like, what?
So I was panicking trying to find out like, hey, where is it anymore? But so after that, she left me alone for a couple days, and she texted me outside in the field. And then after that, we just kept texting back and forth, and it was just just like she used to work in a low rig out in North Dakota, I think. And we just kind of trading stories back and forth about what we did and everything. And then one day it just kind of went to a different level. And then I never thought I would ever go to that level. But she was talking about meeting up after we got back from San Diego. Yeah, we were in San Diego from the 22nd to the 26th of June. And we met up after we got back. And
How did you guys meet up?
at a park in Thornton. Thornton somewhere. And after that, we just kept seeing each other pretty much the whole month of July.
So let me ask you this. and you tell me if I'm wrong, you strike me as somewhat of a shy person. So when you guys were meeting, did it just kind of very initiatory, like flirting at first? Okay, from both sides?
Yeah, it was just kind of like feeling each other out. It's kind of like, I mean,
Yeah. And so, texts, any calls?
more near the end of June,
Okay. And what makes you remember that it's June that it happened?
because we called each other before I left to go to San Diego.
Oh, okay. All right. At first, did you think something might happen?
I just thought it was just flirting. I didn't think it was actually like something that would actually happen.
Yeah. Well, it's totally natural, right? I mean, everyone kind of flirts at work, right? Because the relationship between men and women is different. So if you're working with a girl at work, it's just kind of natural to flirt. I
No,
get it.
I wish I was out in the field more instead of in the office. Those demos, but
Yeah. Yeah. Kind of see it in your eyes. That's kind of where the path started, isn't it?
yeah, I mean, if I was like, because when I went from like a rover to a field coordinator, like I would spend more time in the morning time in the office trying to get everything like situated where we're going to go, everything like that. And, you know, if I was a rover, I'd be more out in the field and instead of like coming to the office like for more than an hour.
Right.
It just gave me more time to run into her, pretty much.
Yeah. Okay. What did she know about you? Did she know you were married at first?
She did once I showed her the pictures
Yeah.
on the phone.
Yeah.
On the, like, you know, the home screen pictures and everything.
So was your wife in that picture, or was it just your girls?
It was just my girls right there, but my wife was the lock screen.
Oh,
So she knew I was married, my kids.
Okay.
are you aware that she said she didn't know you were married? What did you think about that?
It was like just trying to save face, trying to, you know, just trying to. And something my sister said, it was like just trying to keep things together.
Yeah.
Or just trying. She phrased it a different way, but just kind of like. Just like ground control, just trying to control everything that's going on around her, because I'm sure she got bombarded by all kinds of different sides from the media and everything. So, and
Have you
friends.
talked to her at all? No.
I'm
No.
hoping she hasn't written me in a different alias or something. No, I'm not talking to her that way.
Oh,
And are you not allowed to talk to her?
I would hope not.
Okay. No one's told you that then?
No, I mean I would expect like I thought like in Colorado it said like on the DOC list of if you're on like a victim list you can't call anybody.
Oh, right.
But here I'm not sure if that's the same. But I just talked to my sister.
Hey, Andrew, what do you know about that part of like a victim list that people he's not allowed to call? I know you've mentioned a couple times that you've been like banned at certain prisons from getting phone calls. How does that work?
Well, yeah, they're not allowed. They're not allowed to contact like victims' families or victims if they've survived. Unless the victims contact them first. And then like the victims are notified of like parole hearings, um, like release dates if they get out, stuff like that, you know?
Mm-hmm. So what do you think he was actually talking about there? I know it was just like a couple of phrases, but why was he mentioning it?
Um, I mean, I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. I really don't know much about this case. I'm just kind of listening and kind of soaking it all in. My mic
Yeah,
just started.
this case,
going.
I think you once you get the basics of the story, you're going to want to know more. Chris Watts likes to paint himself as the victim somehow, like he was the quiet kid. He didn't date people until he was like 25, and like nobody paid attention to him. Somehow, he was never the the one who made the move. He was always somebody always had to like push him to do things. So that's kind of what he's talking about right now. I think he's getting to it at least. Um, you know, I think it's important for the typology of the crime. You know, I know that they lumped this case into the familicide thing just because his family died, his entire family. But I think it's a little more nuanced than that. I think he committed the crime. And if you leave his girlfriend out of it, he committed the crime in the heat of the moment. And then he murdered his kids to cover up the crime of his murdering his wife. And it makes more sense than it does that, you know, he had somebody who was, you know, motivated him to commit the crime, and he committed the crime, and it was all some big plan. And I think what he's describing of himself is going to be, you're going to hear it anyway, that, you know, he was never the one in control. He was always controlled, I think, is what we're going to hear here.
Parents, that's a friend of my parents.
Do you wish you could talk to her?
Maybe once, just to
Get some closure?
say like, hey, you know, just once.
Yeah.
Just to say, hey, like, I'm sorry this all happened. I'm sorry. I'm not sure, like, what happened, like, afterwards, like, what you went through. Like, if you had, like, counseling, if you're, like, you know, different state, if you had to leave everything.
Definitely
like,
agree
I just
with you
wanted
on
to
that.
I'm sorry, and that's not something that was not like happening or happening to somebody else either.
Would you be all right if we told her that?
That's fine.
You want us to, you want us not to?
And if she would want to even talk to you guys, then I'm not sure if someone contacted. I'm sure she'd answer your phone call more than an attorney phone call that she didn't want to go answer. Yeah.
Oh, so your attorney tried to call her and she wouldn't answer?
Yeah. Yeah, because I remember her phone number, but after that they figured out, I guess, where she lived.
Hey guys, so Andrew actually had to leave. He's got some things he's got to do, but he said he might be back before we're done. So I just wanted to thank him for being here and remind you guys to go check out his YouTube channel, The Unforbidden Truth Podcast.
They left a business card there. And she just pretty much after like the fifth attempt, she said stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure she's getting bombarded like everyone else, so.
And hopefully it's calmed down since, but I'm sure, like, I just hope she can I'm not, there's like normalcy for her, since she's on the outside, but I'm hoping it can get that way at some point. I'm not sure if she had to leave Colorado or not, but I'm sure like, that would have been hard if she did.
Mm-hmm.
I know Anadarko was her dream job, so that's one thing I always like asked my attorneys is like, did she have to leave? Like, did she have to do anything at work? That was one thing. She always told me that was her dream job. So,
Oh, really? Yeah. Where does she mean?
Like in the oil company in Anadarko, it's like, you know, I mean, unless you're working for like BP or like kind of Phillips or something.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Anadarko's like, you know, it's like,
Big leagues.
yeah.
Can I ask kind of a tough question? Did you love her?
I felt like it was true.
Yeah. I think so too. I think it was the same from her.
What do you guys think? Did Chris Watts love Nicole Kessinger? Did Nicole Kessinger love Chris? We just heard Agent Grahm say that he believed it and he thought that she loved him too. I know that's something we don't actually talk about a lot. I mean, we kind of assume that there's this like, you know, passionate romance between the two that kind of, you know, sparked this whole thing. But do you think they honestly were in love with each other?
Okay. Tell us about the time you spent with her.
Well, I mean, it felt like it was, you know, I think like when you said like more, I was more like a shy guy. It's kind of like I never like been pursued by anybody before. It's kind of like I was the one, you know, trying to pursue. Because like when me and Shanann met, it was like, you know, she was always like pushing me away, kind of like, you know.
She was sick for a while, right?
Oh yeah, she had just got diagnosed with lupus, and she was on like a bunch of different medications and stuff. And it was like, I guess I was not her type.
You weren't her type?
I wasn't her type. 'Cause, like, she told me, like, when she first, because we had met.
She told you that?
Yeah.
You're not.
I remember you telling me that.
Yeah, it was like, when we first met, like, it was at a movie theater. My cousin's ex-wife.
So sorry, I'm pausing again. But Olga, you bring up a really good point. Why is he so worried about apologizing to Nicole Kessinger and not to his in-laws? Why does he care so much about her? I mean, this is just more proof that he didn't care about what he did. He cares only about, what he thought he was going to get. He thought he was getting rid of his family to, move in with his girlfriend. He still, I think this is what, like February of 2019. So it's several months after the fact, and he still doesn't seem remorseful. He's more worried about his ex-girlfriend than he is about his in-laws, who are devastated and crushed. It's kind of crazy. It blows my mind to think about it. It really does. And yes, Olga, that is narcissism for sure. That limerence that Cuffy was talking about, that is a thing. That is what sparks most affairs. And, it's funny that they do often happen at the workplace because, when you're not at home, you're at work and you spend, half of your life at work. I mean, that's just how it is. So you're around people. I've heard people talk about how they've got their, their like husband or wife at home, and then they've got their work husband or wife, the person that they go to for everything at work and the person they go to at home, those kinds of things. I think Chris Watts is a narcissistic person, but I think he's more of a covert narcissist. He's got the dark empathy kind of thing. He's empathetic to the point where he understands empathy, but he doesn't actually feel it. I think he is one of those people that is whoever he's around, if that makes sense. He's like an empty vessel, and he kind of takes on the persona of whoever he's near. And, he's out, surfing on sand dunes with Nicole Kessinger because that's what she likes. And so now he likes it too. For whatever reason, I'm pulling like a blank on what that term is, but there is a term for it. I really believe that Chris Watts is that type of person, primarily based off of what we know about his mother, his relationship with his mother, and how she presented, his life and how he like adapted to what she wanted, and then, yes, he does go against his mother's wishes when he marries Shanann, but now he's with Shanann and he's adapted his life to her life, and now he likes what she likes. And I just see it that way. I don't know that it's true. I'm just a person. I've just got ideas, but this is just how I think about it. And it just seems not only logical, it seems very likely, very plausible that that's true. And it does not mean that it actually is.
I've said a sub.
You were dressed like shit, weren't you?
I didn't.
I think that's what you told me.
Yeah, I didn't know like that.
They weren't having any games?
So she was fancy and he was in like shorts and tennis shoes or something, right?
Shoes and, like, I should have known the doorman, was in a suit. And I was just like, this isn't good. And, like,
Was it at the theater?
It was a fancy theater, right?
It was
Kinda?
in Charlotte. It was called the Epicenter, and apparently they give you like champagne and all kinds of stuff.
Oh, this is a fancy date night theater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he
Movie
came.
theater.
I think he came like he was going to a
Like I was,
Cinemax, like
like I was going to a bonfire
like an
or something.
AMC.
Like a white theater?
No, it was like you like
Movie
just watch
theater?
the normal movie, but like you can like drink champagne and like
Yeah.
have like a Jack and Coke inside the theater and just sit there and just whatever. But like yeah, it's when she first saw me, she was like, I should probably just turn and talk to the bartender a little more. Like, no, I'm not here to meet. But yeah, like I was like persistent trying to pursue something. I liked her, and even on our first date, like I couldn't even eat anything really. I was just like,
You're so nervous.
yeah,
Really?
yeah. She was just like chowing down, and she was like, "You eat like a bird." I'm like, "Oh, that's fine." And she taught my parents like months later. She was like, "This guy just never ate." It's like, "This guy eats like a trash disposal." It's trash disposal. It's like, "No, not around me." I was like, well, "I'm just nervous." I was just like, I was always like shaking and everything. But yeah, I was always pursuing her, and then just like finally, I grew onto her. Like I would always like with her medications and stuff. I would always like she had like 8 bottles of medication, so I would always get like her day and nights and kind of like put them all in that little flip open
Pill box.
yeah, all that kind of stuff, and I would always be around her. I even went to her colonoscopy. She said after that she knew that was like kind of a keeper. It's like who goes to a colonoscopy after 3 months with somebody?
Right.
It's a little soon.
Hey, JT.
Well, she asked if she needed
Join-
a ride. I'm like, yeah. She's like, you want to go to colonoscopy with me? I'm like, sure, why not? Yeah. Like I even sat with her while she drank that nasty stuff all day.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's,
Where she's in the bathroom
that's
all
a good
day.
test.
that clear stuff that doesn't really taste clear. Yeah, but yeah, it was. I mean, it felt like it was a great relationship. Everything was great.
Now you're talking about with Kissinger.
No, with
Or
Tom
was-
Elfstein and like the first year, my parents never. I don't know. My mom was always kind of hesitant.
What?
I was the baby, I guess. I never had a girlfriend in high school, so it's kind of like she never like really saw me like.
Oh, interesting. So she's kind of watching her baby walk out a little bit.
Yeah, because now I turned 18. I graduated. I never moved back
Okay.
at home. So
And
my
how
sister
old-
moved back and forth all the time. So
How old were you when you met Shanann?
I was 25. It was 2010. So
Okay.
So no serious girlfriends before that?
nothing more than like 6 months or so. Yeah, there was some girls here and there, but just nothing more than like the last girlfriend I had before Shanann, she was just actually got divorced, and I should never did that. But it was more of like I was kind of like helping her get through her divorce. It seemed like she went on to somebody else. I'm like, oh,
I never picked up on this part of this interview before because that should have been proof to him not to do what he did. If you think about it, he's seen what it's like when somebody's ending a marriage and what, he felt, the pressure of like getting her through the divorce. And he doesn't even notice that he's doing the same thing with Nicole Kessinger. Does anybody know who that person was? Because I don't think I've ever talked about her or have heard her name before.
nice to know.
You're the rebound guy?
The rebound guy.
Pretty much, but that's how it goes.
Would you say that in your relationships with women, it seems to me, and you tell me if I'm wrong, it seems to me like you're attracted to maybe a more dominant personality?
It seemed like it because I'm more of the just reserved. I mean, I just kind of like go with the flow type.
Yeah.
And then like Shan usually made all the decisions. It seemed like so.
I get that. I'm the same. Yeah. I don't know what it is.
Yeah. I don't think that's right with you, but
So then, and I know it's hard to keep bouncing back and forth, but and one of the reasons we're here is we just keep telling ourselves, Grace just does not fit the mold. Grace does not.
no.
Like it just blows us away what happened, right? And so we will do a little bit of bouncing back and forth, and that's really just to get to know you a little bit better. We never really got that chance, did we? We were talking
twice.
Yeah.
Met you once.
Yeah.
Probably like three. Well, you remember 3 or 4 times probably.
So then do you call her Nikki or Nicole?
I would call her Nikki.
Okay.
I know there's so many Nickies and Nicoles in this.
Right, there is.
I got confused.
So we'll call her Nikki. So then with Nikki, was it different?
It just seemed like I was more in control. It seemed like, and that never happened. Like she'd actually like ask me like my opinion on a lot of things and just like what I wanted to do and just kind of like okay.
That was new, wasn't it?
Very new.
That's fascinating to me. And so, did it feel more like an equal partnership, or?
It seemed like it.
Yeah. Okay. So then, when it was date night, would you guys talk about it? Would you ask to go somewhere? Or would she say, I want to go somewhere? Was it too fast?
The first time we went out, it was to a movie over at the Orchard, about 144th over there. And I asked her, like, hey, you want to go see this movie? And like, yeah. I'm like, okay, cool. And we got there, it was sold out. And, normally you probably just have, just wait 2 hours, like, just go home. But now she just wanted to walk around and just talk. I'm like, okay.
Oh, wow.
So that was different. And, I think she wanted to go to the car museum, the Shelby Museum in Boulder. I've never been there. And
That's right up your alley.
Oh, yeah. I was just like, that was awesome, just to walk around cars for like an hour or so. And then, drag race in Vandermeer.
Okay.
I haven't been to a drag race since 2008. That was in Charlotte.
Okay.
Like, that was a drag strip over there. This, like, the NHRA, the Top Fuel, fun car stuff, like me and my dad used to grow up.
Yeah.
Go there, like, all the time. And then, like, went to camping in Sand Dunes National Park. And I'd never been camping. I always wanted to do it. Thought it was, she'd done it, like, countless times.
Oh, really? Okay. She's outdoorsy?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess every time, like, she needed to clear her head, she'd just go by herself. Just go somewhere else.
Yeah. But she's a completely new type of person and relationship.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. What were you thinking this whole time? Like, in the back of your head?
In the back of my head, I was just telling myself, what are you doing? Like, every time, I'd open up my phone, I could see pictures, like, of my wife and my kids, and just like, what am I doing? And then, like, every time I was with her, it seemed like I didn't think. It seemed like it was like a blinder that was in my face.
Oh.
And it just, like, every time I look back on it, like, like, I have pictures of my wife and kids and myself. And, like, every night, or every morning, every night, I just, talk to them, say, like I have, like, this book I used to read for CC. And I remember that book, so I read that to them, like, every night. And, like, there's some scripture and stuff that I read to them, so I just try to, think back, like, I wish this never happened. And just, like, I wish that blinder wasn't on my head, right in my eyes. That would have seen what was going on. Like, I was having, everybody said, oh, you're just out there having fun while your kids, or kids and wife are on vacation. I'm just like, no, it wasn't like that, but it seemed like that's what it looked like when you're going, you're going to camping, you're going to drag race, going all the other stuff that you have fun doing, but you're with somebody else. It's not your family. It just didn't seem right.
Okay.
With her, it just didn't seem like I could even see that anymore.
Yeah.
I was there at her house pretty much every night. So it was like I didn't have that time at home just to really think about anything. Because literally I was only at home from, like, when I got home from work. I worked out, I ate dinner, and then I went over to her house. Like, I never slept in my house, like, the whole month of July.
Now, talk me through that, though. When you said you went home and then you were at her house, was that while Chanel was gone? Oh, okay. So you weren't even at your house.
No.
This all happened so quickly, didn't it?
It was insane quickly. Like, I didn't, like, she even told me, like, she would never, in, like, a normal relationship, she would never have somebody over at her house, like, more than, like, once or twice a week, but she felt like she wanted me over there.
Yeah.
She said she felt comfortable over there.
Yeah.
So it was just like, that's what was different, like, she wanted me over there. But I just wish that all that would just go away. I just wish I know it's hard I know it's wrong to say I wish I never met somebody, but I wish I'd, maybe met her at work and then just kept it that way.
I think if we had a time machine, I don't think this would happen again. Because some people, when this happens, you're like, well, if it wasn't this time, it would have been next time, or it would have been the next time. It just wouldn't have happened with you, would it? It happened so quickly that, you tell me if I'm wrong, you're not the type of guy to take control sometimes when you need to.
Yeah,
It seems like that's just what happened.
Yeah, I didn't take control of the situation. It just like the situation controlled me.
Right. It just happened.
See, I think he's blaming everything but himself. And, you know, he is right. I mean, we've seen it the way his mother controlled him, the way his wife controlled him. You know, he doesn't take control. But it also, when he did take control, people died. You know, that was him in control. And it's scary. This is one terrifying monster. I don't know. There's just, it just kind of makes me nauseous to think about what he did. You know, he's sitting here, you know, reminiscing. He's more sad about losing his girlfriend than he's about losing his family. And the story that he's making about reading the book, that sounds like BS to me. Whatever book that he's talking about, and then he talks about, well, and I read scripture to her. I think he's like maybe read to them sometimes, but I don't think he read to them every single night. Like he paints, he's painting the picture. It's painting the lies so that he doesn't look like a monster. And, you know, technically he probably wasn't a monster, not like a terrible dad or anything, you know, but the outcome, he murdered his family. I mean, that makes him a monster no matter how good of a dad he was to begin with.
No, I get that, man. I'm somewhat passive myself, and it's like, you know, there's situations where I'm like, well, why did I let that keep going? You know?
Yeah, I don't know why. It was like a roller coaster ride that I just kept punching and taking on, and just never picked it up.
Yeah. Can we talk about the hardest subject? It's when we were talking, the last time we talked, the last thing we talked about was where the girls were, but we never really got to talk about that night. So what happened?
So nothing really happened that night. It was in the morning.
Okay.
It was, you know, me and Jeanette, she got home like at 2 o'clock. And, you know, I felt her get into bed. And I just felt like I didn't feel it. I just made sure I looked at my phone at 2 o'clock and make sure she's okay, she's in there. And I could kind of feel her kind of stirring around a little bit. And, I just had a feeling that she knew like what was going on. I mean, obviously, I didn't use I didn't have a gift card, you know, that I got, and I used my actual credit card. And I kind of just felt like something. She knew what was going on, and she started rubbing her hand on me, and we ended up having sex. But I guess that was more like a test.
Oh,
I would have thought.
interesting. Okay.
Yeah, because when we talked, when I woke up later on in the morning, like, you know, I pretty much, you know, told her, like, you know, I didn't think it was going to work anymore. And she was like, what happened? What was last night? You know,
Mm-hmm.
I figured that's what we call the test after I've gone through everything in my head.
That makes sense.
And she just told me, you know, like to get off of her. And she's like, I knew there was somebody else. I knew there was somebody else. I knew there was somebody else. I couldn't just say yes, there is somebody else. But then she said, you're never going to see the kids again. You're never going to see them again. Get off of me. Don't hurt me. And then,
Is that what you said?
so that was because like when I climbed in bed, that was pretty much like.
If this part of the conversation is true, this is why he actually killed her. It wasn't a planned out thing. He killed her because of this little argument.
On top, pretty much like straddling her, kind of deal.
Okay.
And she thought I was gonna like, you know, hurt her or her baby or something. So, because she knew that, like, you know, something had happened. She thought I was just trying to, you know, just check out or something. So, and that's when it happened.
I know it's hard, but do you mind if we talk just a tiny bit deeper about that? So she comes home, you know, she touches you, you guys have sex. It seems like she's doing her test, which I understand. Sounds like you do too.
I'm sure, like, you know, Nikki or not Nikki, Nicole Atkinson or Cassie probably told her, you know,
That's what I was thinking, right? They talked about it during that whole weekend.
more than likely. That's my parents told me there was like going through like text messages. It's like all like pretty much they all kind of just told her he's with somebody else type of deal.
Yeah. And she spent a lot of time with the gals. That's what they did probably all weekend is talk about it, give her advice. I think that's what we found from, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So she comes home, you guys have sex, and then did you fall asleep between then and going to work?
Yes.
Okay. So then at some point, does she wake you up or is it you waking up for work?
My alarm works.
Oh, okay. And you're going to work out.
Mhm.
But then that's when she started wanted to talk more. She was pretty mad.
Yeah. I mean, it was. I had already kind of knew that. You know, using that credit card, it was.
Was that intentional?
Yeah.
I had no other way to do it.
Oh,
You know, I used like because I got the Narco gift cards from like you know doing good stuff at work and stuff
Yeah.
like that, and I'd use them all.
oh. Was part of you just like, screw it, whatever, I don't care. I'm using this card.
Part of me just wants to say, Nikki, can you pay for this? But I don't know.
Yeah.
Even I think my attorney said she even noticed I used a different card, like a blue card.
Oh.
Maybe she thought, you know, like I felt comfortable enough just using a normal bank account or something. But you know, I told her I was going to Iraq. I told you I was going to Iraq.
Yeah.
It was just like, you know, it felt like, you know, like looking back at everything, like just like reading the scripture more and more now, I can see like, you know, God gave me opportunities to get out. Like even my friend Jeremy Lindstrom, he even invited me because like it was his daughter that came and watched the kids on that Saturday night. And he was like, hey, you said we're going to a Rocky game. You want to go to me with the Bronco game and watch the Arizona Cardinals? Like, in my mind, it was like, you know, go. Just say, hey, I can't find a babysitter. Bye.
Nikki?
Yeah. And maybe that would have been like, you know, like life switch just like goes different directions. That was kind of like my last like opportunity to kind of get out. It seems like 'cause I wish I would have said, yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
And I think that would have just put me on a different trajectory.
So then, Shanann, did she actually say you're never going to see the kids again?
She said that to me before.
Yeah. That's kind of hard to hear.
Yeah, because she'd said to me before she went to Arizona. Because like I wasn't really sleeping in the bedroom, I was sleeping on the couch or in the basement bed or something, and like she had slammed the door. You're never gonna see the kids again. Or something.
Well, see, right there, he basically just backtracked a little bit. You know, he had just said that she said that you are never going to see the kids again. Like he said that, like she had said it that night, and Agent Coder just asked him again, and he's like, "Oh, well, she said it before." So, I mean, this is why I believe that most of this conversation is a lie. I think there's like little pieces of truth like throughout the whole thing. I don't think that he's telling the truth. He's trying to paint the picture of him that he is a victim to some degree, that this wouldn't have happened if things wouldn't have happened to him. And none of that is true. There is no excuse. I've seen several comments, popping up. You know, I agree with all of you guys. Like there's no excuse for this. This guy is a monster. He was angry. Something happened that night. Shanann said something. I don't know for sure if she said, you're never going to see the kids again, but she said something that set him off and he murdered her. And I suspect that his daughter came in and saw it. And he thought, well, now I have to take care of that problem because otherwise I'm not going to get away with this bigger problem. This interview makes me like, I have a lot of emotions when I hear this, especially this part. Part of me wants to believe that he's telling the truth, he's got this opportunity to tell his story without any worry because he's already in jail for life, but then he's making crap up. And we just heard him like say one thing and then say, oh no, she said it some other time. So, I mean, I think that little bit right there kind of is proof to me that he's making this story up.
Did she get fiery like that?
Only once in our entire relationship I ever seen her that way.
Yeah. And that was a time before, or was that on the night that it happened?
No, it was right back in North Carolina.
Oh.
It was just like one of those. It was just a fiery argument that I never raised my voice to her or anything, and I just got mad and I slammed the door, and she was like, "Wow," I'm like, I should have slammed the door.
Was that when you were in North Carolina that last week?
No, it was like
previous to
this
that.
Is like 2010, 2011.
Oh.
It was like early. In her old house.
Before kids?
Yes.
Were you dating or were you married at that point?
Dating.
Oh.
Yeah, it was just like I don't remember what it was about. I think some girl maybe texted me like from my past or something, and like I was just like, this. And she was like, don't have that happen again. And I'm just like, I have friends, right? They're females. Like I don't even talk to this woman anymore.
Right.
And it was just like, nope.
Was she fiery? Did she have that Italian blood that her mom has?
Good Lord, yes.
This story sounds fake. This whole story about Shanann getting upset about an old girlfriend, because we also heard him say that there wasn't very many old girlfriends. It just completely sounds like BS. And, you got to give it to Tammy Lee and Agent Coder because, they're talking to him, knowing what he did. And, they're kind of trying to joke with him, to get him to loosen up so that he will talk. If they know that he's lying, I don't think they're making any indication that they think he's lying just to keep him talking.
Was she always like that, or was she? Did she snap at things?
She would snap at me, but you could tell, like, something really irked her a little bit.
Yeah.
It would come out.
0 to 100 type thing, or what?
0 to 200.
Oh, interesting.
She gets acclimated about something. She's like, all right, it's gonna happen.
Well, that's why she was probably so successful at Thrive, right?
Oh yeah, like she had done a couple other like direct sales business, but this one was just like it was different.
Why?
This one like, cause I think she had done like Origami Owl and like something called like It Works, and then like other couple other things like some bags and stuff like that. But the supplement stuff, just because it worked with her, it worked with me. She's like, okay, I can kind of like use this as like, all right, this is what it's doing for us.
Yeah.
And then like after a little while, like she could see how like people are above her, how it was helping them, and then it was just like trickle down effect. And it was like a good system about like commission wise and everything was just she could use all the business IQ she has from running those cell phone shops and from the Dirty South custom shops and all that. I mean, she's business minded. Yeah, she knows how to do a accounting book like the back of her hand. So it all just like fell into place with all that.
So then on that night.
See, I think it's funny that he paints this picture that Shanann was jealous, but I think Roy's mama makes a very good point. He was jealous of Shanann because she could communicate. And I think it goes a little further than that too. I think he was jealous of Shanann. He worried that somebody was going to take her away from him. She was outgoing. She did have friends. She was around lots of people all the time. And Chris Watts wasn't like that. He didn't have anything like that. He had one or two friends, and I really don't believe that anybody from his past, somebody he dated, contacted him and got Shanann upset. I don't think she would be the type to really be bothered by that. She seems like a pretty confident person, and I think it would take a lot for her to believe. Oh shoot! I'm gonna go ahead and push play. I'm gonna hop off of here for a second. I got more on this. Okay.
Was it just a new type of fight?
It was
Never had, or what? What happened?
Yeah, it was a totally different type of fight. It was, it was just felt like, I don't know, it was more anger than anything else. Like there was emotion to it at first, and then it just felt like it was just anger. It was just like, like there was no love there. It was kind of like what we were saying, what she was saying. It was just like, it's almost like we knew like something was combating at each other. We didn't know, like it wasn't ourselves.
Really? Anger from you or anger from her?
I think it was more anger from me and more like desperation from her because she wanted to fix it.
Yeah.
She knew something wasn't right. Like, like when the whole thing with my parents happened with my parents called it Nutgate.
What happened?
Nutgate.
What's that?
Oh,
The peanut.
Oh,
nuts
yeah.
in the bowl or whatnot.
Oh, with her family?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pistachio ice cream or whatever it was.
Yeah, somebody
Nutgate.
call it nut.
I haven't heard
I
that.
hadn't heard that either.
Yeah, I think that's what people are calling it.
Okay.
But that was like another out. Like, maybe I could have just like stopped everything with Nikki and just kind of concentrated on helping like whatever happened there. Because
Okay.
Shannon had a story, my mom had a story. Like, whatever happened, I'd probably ask my 10-year-old nephew. Probably can tell me what actually happened.
Well, and they both have their feelings for good reasons, and they both didn't see it the other person's way. And
Yeah, and like maybe because I didn't talk to my parents from then on until like August 6th, and like my dad took that whole week off.
you didn't talk to your parents from then on?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because like Shanann was like, do not talk to them, do not call them, do not do anything.
Is that what she said?
Yeah, and the Cece's birthday was the 17th, but I think the actual birthday party was like a couple days after.
In August?
July.
July?
Yeah. And like my mom or my dad was gonna go, but then there was like a post on Facebook about allergies and stuff like that Shanann made, and my dad was like, no, I just can't do it anymore.
Cuffew, I get your point here that he does seem to be truthful, but there's and he actually might be more truthful here than he has been in the past, but he's lied so much it's hard for me to believe anything that he says. And there's several points throughout this interview where he's like, oh, blah blah blah, and then he kind of changes his story a little bit, and it just means to me that what he's saying isn't the whole truth. It might be part of the truth. And I don't know. I've read the transcript of this. It's not really a transcript. It's like a log note from whoever. I don't know if it's a full transcription, but some of it, it sounds more real than what I actually hear when I listen back. I mean, when you hear his voice, I don't know what it is about the way he talks, but there's just things that just doesn't sound honest to me. It sounds like he's trying to make them up, or it could be the opposite. He's, diluting the truth. And either way, it comes out as it doesn't feel like it's truthful to me. You think it was a full transcription or just like a courtroom log note where they just kind of capture some of it? I know I've read it, and it seems to have different information to what I hear on this and that. So I'm not sure.
Just like, because he perceived that as her taking a shot type thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. She always says she never, put those posts directed at anybody, but she had a method.
If you read them, you know who she's
Yeah.
talking about.
She had a method to the madness, and you can see it.
Mm-hmm.
But I wish I could have just took more time just to fix that. Because I wanted my parents to be involved. Like since like the whole wedding thing, and then up to that, it was like, my mom, my sister were always like, combating with Shannon combating with them. My dad was always cool. Like, he's just like me. He's just like, go with the flow. Like, I just want everybody to get along type deal.
Chicks,
I
man.
loved your dad.
Oh, he's the best.
Isn't he? I
So-
loved your dad.
I'm sorry, keep going.
That's what, I just wish I could have, like, just when we were at the beach in August. Like, my dad was supposed to, let's take the whole week off just so we could see the kids and, like, see me. And, like, we have a cookout at my sister's house or something. And then, but we just pretty much spent 5 days at the beach. And Shannon, like, booked it. So, like, I mean, I don't want to say, like, punishment for them not to see the kids, but, like, I wanted them to see it. See them. I wish I could have fixed all that. And I even, like, when I was at the beach, I told Shannon that it was more like what was going on was more of like, I feel like, my dad's my hero. I feel like I've lost like something in my life. I haven't been talking to him for 3 weeks. I haven't been seeing the kids for 3 weeks, on FaceTime or anything. And I wanted them to be able to have that relationship again. She was pretty much gung ho, like she tried to kill my daughter by giving her pink. I was like, I don't think she gave it to her.
Was that her stance? Is that your mom?
Put something in front of CC.
Like to kill her, or
No,
just
just like
Didn't care.
like
Didn't pay attention.
she thinks that allergies and like this state of age is like people think, oh, you'll be
like it's
fine.
made up
Like
kind of
yeah, he'll
thing?
be fine. He'll just have a rash. He'll be fine. I've seen CC, like the first time. Well, I've seen a picture of when he had a cashew the first time. It wasn't good. And then she had kiwi the second time, and then the same thing happened. And I know it's real.
Do you know it's serious? Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like it wasn't like her throat like closed up, but she broke out in this full body rash that looked really crazy looking. And luckily, like nothing with her throat like happened. But
So did that make you angry at your mom for doing that?
yeah, I mean, I just like, no, you just gotta. I told her you need to think. You need to like pay attention. Just because another kid can have something doesn't mean another kid can have something. Because like when we were at that birthday party at Jeremy's that Sunday, they had this cake there. Like Bella wanted it so bad. I'm like, can't give that to her because Cece can't have it. She was like, okay. And all the other kids were like, they can't have the cake. Like I just kind of took them off and gave them some like one of those frozen pops or something. But it's just like she had to learn that just because one kid has something and there's another kid that can't have it for a legitimate reason, like she couldn't have done it. But that's the kind of talk I had with her. When Shannon called me, I think it was maybe like middle of July or something when she told me all this had happened. That's when I called my mom and talked to them for a while, and then they're just like, they just couldn't deal with her anymore. Shannon just kind of like, they like flipped out. My nephew told Bella to go hide behind the curtain because I don't think your mom was going to let you come over here again or something like that.
Aw.
So it got heated.
Oh, it was bad.
Really?
Yeah, it was like a last straw between them, I think.
Like in the same room or over the phone?
No, they were at
They were
at my
really
mom's
heated.
house. Yeah, because Cece and Bella and my niece and nephew were there.
Okay.
How did Shanann find out about the ice cream thing?
Because Chanel was there, and I guess they were all sitting on this couch. It was kind of like a U, and my niece went into the kitchen, and she knew where the ice cream was. She'd been there. And she knew where the ice cream was. She'd been there.
So it's not like your mom gave it to her? Like she got her own ice cream?
Yeah, she went in the freezer, got it, went out, and sat beside Cece and started eating.
Oh.
But like, it's just a matter of like Cece could go like
Right.
like that. Now, I don't know what would happen if she just got it on her hand.
Right.
But like I know on like the prick test, on the back, it's like a welt.
So were they staying there at your parents' house during that time? 'Cause
Yeah, it was. So they would go from from Sandy and Frank's house for like a few days or 5 days, and go to my mom and dad's house for a couple of days and kind of bounce back and forth.
Okay. So it happened during that time when they were there, yeah. Okay.
So there were so many things that happened, weren't there? That just were little tiny ingredients to this recipe.
Yeah, nothing like
It's nuts, Chris. I mean, it's just so many things just didn't go your way.
everything was like somebody was stirring a pot, and it was just
That's exactly what it was like. So then, I know I keep bringing it up. Can you walk me through just the last few minutes before Shenandoah?
It was pretty much just like I had gotten dressed for work, and then like we started talking.
Did she come to you?
No, I was just right there in bed.
Oh,
Just-
okay.
Yeah. So I was just like, I got my blue shirt on. I'm not continuing and everything.
You ready to go?
I was ready to go. And
Was she asleep, or did you have to wake her up to finish your conversation? Or
I'll wake her up because like she got home like 2 o'clock, so she pretty much out of it. But I never knew like if her plane got delayed. Someone always told me like she just like sat around with Nicole and just like talked for a while and then came home. I'm not sure if that was true.
It was delayed. Yeah.
But yeah, when she came home and everything, but yeah, like I woke her up to talk to her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And is that because it was just eating at your
Yeah,
brain?
like I knew like, you know, something like it's something just felt right with me. So I know like she knew. I just knew she knew. I just felt like maybe the kids weren't gonna be there when I got home that day.
Oh, interesting. Now, I don't mean to offend, but I have to ask, is that really the truth? Okay.
I really felt like they weren't gonna be there when I got home that day.
Oh. And
like she would take them somewhere?
No,
Or-
I just felt like either maybe I wouldn't go home, maybe they weren't gonna be there, or I wouldn't be allowed in, type of thing.
I think I saw some text messages where Shania talked about that she would take the kids to another state or something because she wouldn't be able to afford to live in Colorado or something like that. Did she say that kind of stuff to you, or
Yeah.
what did she say about that?
She said she couldn't afford to live in Colorado on her own, and that I told her, like, well, you know, try it, and she pretty much makes the same amount I do.
Yeah.
But she said she wouldn't want to try, just because, you know, Colorado just price of living there was a lot higher than North Carolina.
And just so I'm clear, you thought maybe in your mind, you thought maybe she would take the kids somewhere else or like lock you out of the house or.
Or just like, you know, I wouldn't want to make a scene, like, you know, trying to like pound on the door, trying to get in or anything like that. But like, I just felt like, you know, that was what I did on Sunday. You know, it was kind of like, or Saturday night was kind of like the last straw. Kind of like going out with somebody and using an actual bank account card and just like not trying to hide it.
See, you know, this is I can feel that there was a real type like rage, you know, whenever he's thinking that she's going to take off with his family. And to me, it's crazy because of what he does to his family. You know, if he was really that concerned, you know, this should have never happened at all. Like, so I feel like he was probably angry. I think he snapped whenever something was said about this. But this was 2018 and men have rights. Shanann wouldn't have been able to leave the state legally if he had gotten an attorney right away. He would have to pay child support. He would have to, probably pay alimony even. But, they're not going to take away so much money from him that he can't live and feed himself. So, I mean, everything that he did was wrong. He had no reason to fear that she could actually leave. He could have gotten a court order that brought her back, regardless if she couldn't afford it or not. She would have to stay in Colorado, wherever the kids are. And I know this from experience. I shouldn't have let my ex go off to Arizona. I could have made her come back to Alaska had I handled it right away. But it is what it is. You don't know these things until you actually get forced into those situations and you find out what it really means. But I don't think she would have been able to leave this state. So Chris really had nothing to worry about other than losing money. He wouldn't have lost his family. And he could have easily just gotten counseling and tried to work things out with his family. Because I don't believe he was really in love with Nicole Kessinger. I don't think Nicole Kessinger was in love with him. I think they were caught up in that infatuation, the limerence that Cuffew brought up a few times. That is real. That is a real feeling. It's brought on by hormones. It's biology, He did not have to murder his family at all. He didn't. And, after he murdered his wife, other than, trying to cover up the murder of his wife, why would he murder his kids? They could be alive right now. Yes, they would probably be in counseling. They would, for the rest of their lives, maybe, have a horrible life. Who knows? I mean, but they would have had a chance to figure things out on their own and get over that and get past that. And, they don't have that opportunity anymore. And Cuffew, you're right. They were about to file bankruptcy again because they couldn't afford their lifestyle. They needed to downgrade and get a smaller house. Kids can share a room. They only need a two. I mean, I think I've known people who have lived in one room houses and been fine. So, I mean, as long as you're safe, you can be crowded. You're just sleeping there. If you want to not be crowded, go outside. They don't have to have that giant house. They don't have to have, what kind of car did they have? I want to say like a BMW or Beamer or something. I don't remember what kind of car they had, but it was an expensive car, Lexus, right? It's just crazy to me to think that this is like actually like playing out in his head somehow that this is going to work out in his favor. Like, it just doesn't compute to me. It doesn't.
So walk me through it though, because she comes home, she touches you, you guys have sex, you fall asleep, then you wake up for work, all natural, all, a normal day's work type thing.
Yeah.
What was it that made you think, I just can't do this anymore, I have to talk to her?
It was eating away at me. Like, I knew, like, something, I knew everything that I did. Like, I know, like, when I was with Nikki, it was, different. Like, I wasn't even, like, in the realm of, I'm a dad, I'm a husband type thing.
Oh.
And then, like I was saying, when I'm never at home, like, sleeping in my own bed, like, I have no, like, concept of that anymore.
Interesting.
But
So in your mind and heart, you can have moved on.
Like, it kind of felt like if I wasn't at home, like, I didn't think about it almost. Cause like, if I wasn't sleeping on my own, like, I think there was at one point, like, Nikki had gone to the mountains with her friends for like a few days, like into June, first part of July. And then, like, that part, obviously I was at home. But like from that whole month of July on, it was like, I was never at home. Like, I never had all those reminders around me. I never had, like, every time my wife would call me, I would be at Nikki's house.
Oh. While she was in North Carolina?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I would, like, walk outside and talk to her, like, when I was next to the car or something like that. I would never be at home looking, like, have all these pictures around me, just being in the same bed, seeing my kids' beds, seeing everything that we go for the last 6 years.
And so, did you just want to once and for all get it out in the open?
I just wanted to just tell her how I was feeling at that point in time. Like, I didn't feel like me and her were compatible anymore. Honestly, I didn't feel like that because what was going on with Nikki, it was new. It was new.
Right, absolutely.
Anything that's new always feels better than the old.
Yes.
You were probably bitten.
It's funny that he acknowledges that, but he acknowledges that, the new always feels better, that, the grass is always greener. He probably heard, but my God, he is an idiot. Like, yeah. And I don't know why he didn't think about doing a side job. I don't know how many hours a week he was working, but if it was a 40-hour week job, I mean, yeah, it could be hard, physically demanding, but he's got time to go work out. That means he's got time to work. He could be working on cars. He could be working on lawnmowers or anything, like he could be doing anything. And it's just crazy. This whole case is crazy to me.
By the love bug.
Yeah,
That's how a lot of therapists talk about it. Yeah.
It was just like, I never felt that. I mean, even like with new relationships in the past, like it always felt different, like, the first couple weeks, and then, but it just, with someone Nikki felt different. I don't know what it was.
See, and because he's bringing up Nicole Kessinger, and they're talking about right before he murdered his wife. They're talking about that night, that morning. This is another place where I think this is kind of where he's not saying it specifically, but I'm kind of reading between the lines, and I think he's basically saying that Nicole Kessinger was pushing him to do this. And I think this is the ultimatum. That's what the 111-minute phone call was. And I really believe that, based off the way he talks about this, something Nicole Kessinger said to him, like, triggered this fight with Shanann. Whether it was, hey, let's make a plan and do murder, or, hey, you got to leave your wife or I'm leaving you. It doesn't matter what, but something was said in that freaking phone call that caused Chris Watts to fume enough and get enraged enough to not be able to sleep right away, and then, push this conversation off on his wife, who probably snapped at him, and then we know the results. Nicole Kessinger played a part, whether it was, as an equal party or, a passive participant. Something happened, I think, during that phone call. And I can't prove it, but I don't think it's been proven that there was nothing said during that phone call either, because nobody knows what anybody said.
Maybe it was just like you said, like, I was more in control, and like it was more of like maybe more of me coming out. Because Shanann always said, like, it always seemed I was more myself around other people, like, her cousin Cody, like, Cody lived or came up and visited us for a little bit while we were in Colorado for a little while, and Cody always talked about, like, how Chris is so funny, Chris is like, Shanann would always like, why are you gonna like that with me? I'm just like, maybe I always felt nervous around you.
There's only so much oxygen in the room, right? I say this to some people with dominant personalities.
I just always felt nervous. I always felt like I was, I never could actually just, be myself. But Nikki, I was myself, like, all the time. It was just different.
Well, and it seems as though, and again,
I think the first time in his life that he was himself, he killed his family. That was him being himself. Before that, he was whatever his mom wanted him to be. He was never what he wanted to be. He was always doing something because somebody else suggested it.
it's hard to talk about, and you tell me if I'm wrong, but it also seems, is it accurate to say that sexually you were able to say, Nikki, this is what I would like, this is what I'm into, or blah, 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 and maybe not what Shanann?
No, Nikki just wanted, she wanted what she wanted. She wanted to do it pretty much all the time. I was just like, okay, that's me.
Okay.
With Shanann, it was just like, hey. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it didn't, but that wasn't the case as far as that way. It wasn't just like sex or whatnot, but it was me. I was just for myself. I could just not think about what I was going to say or plan what I was going to say or not.
Thank you, Cuffew. See you next time.
Right.
A little bit of freedom.
Can I ask you something about that morning that you had sex with Shanann? Did you feel at all like maybe you were kind of cheating on Nikki by doing that?
I felt strange. I felt like, the first time I was with Nikki, I felt weird. First time,
Sure.
And then the last time I was with Shanann, I felt totally strange. I was just like, I didn't know who I was. I didn't know who I had become. I felt like I had become people I see on TV, and that did not feel right with me. Like, I didn't know what had happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
So Nikki even asked me, like, have you done this before? Have you go straight away? I'm like, I've never even thought about it. It's like, what's different? It's like, I guess it's just you that's different, because I've just never actually, like, I've seen girls smile at me before, never done anything about it. With her, it was just like, it's like she had a leash on me and she tugged me away. As soon as she walked, I'm like, what the heck, what's going on? So.
Well, and Tammy brings up a very good point. I wonder if that last time with Shanann having sex had somewhat of a role and you thinking,
Like a trigger?
I gotta do something, I gotta say something, we gotta have a talk, something's gotta change. Is that accurate?
I just I felt like it was like maybe like a trigger point or something like it's like you hit the push button on a bomb and it just blows up.
Right.
Just something in my head was just like something was occurring. Just like I had to say something.
Okay. So then, exactly what did you say and what happened?
So when I woke her up and it's like, hey, we just gotta talk.
Okay.
And it's like I told her, I don't feel compatible. I don't feel like this is gonna work. I just, I don't wanna, like, can we cancel a trip to Aspen? And she had booked a trip that week
Oh,
to go to some like mystery 4-star luxury hotel or something.
just the two of you or the whole family?
Just me and her.
Okay.
And she had Amanda Thayer couldn't watch the kids that weekend or something.
Okay.
And I was just like, can we cancel that? Can we like do something? Like, from what I remember, I even said, can we move to Brighton just to get away from like this house?
Oh,
But like, I'm not sure if that was like in the beginning or the end of part of the conversation or whatnot. That conversation was so many different ways. Like they'd gone from like staying together to just like all of the above.
okay. So this is half an hour, what?
Definitely not more than half an hour.
Okay.
I don't think.
Are you crying? Is she crying?
It's back and forth. It's like, she's got, mascara. She didn't wash her face when she got home. She had makeup on still, so mascara was running all over her and stuff like that. And it was nothing.
I don't think any of this was back and forth. I bet Shanann was crying, but I just think that Chris Watts snapped. He was in a rage. Things weren't going as planned, and I think Shanann was kind of standing up to him. At least verbally, not physically. There was no signs of a struggle of any kind. So she still felt safe enough that she didn't physically attack him. None of it makes sense. But I agree with Creamy Rowe. Chris Watts is a hollow person, and he is whoever he's around. He becomes that person. Identity diffusion, I think they call it. He takes the shape of other people around him. He becomes the person other people want him to be. He doesn't know who he really is when nobody's around, because somebody's always around him. He's always got somebody telling him what to do and who to be. And Ben, he very well could have been possessed. The way he describes it, he's kind of watching himself do these things. And I think, there could be some truth to that. I don't get into the religion kind of stuff, but, I'm a skeptic when it comes to the supernatural, but I'm not going to say it's not true either.
About that conversation, I just wish I could take all of it back. Just the whole Nick thing back, everything. But
So then when did it turn?
as far as that conversation, it's at the end when I was telling her, like, I told her I didn't love her anymore. That's what happened.
What happened?
She told me to get off her, and then I put my hand on her.
Okay.
Did you say she said something like that you were hurting the baby or something?
That was before that. Because, like, when I was straddling her, it was kind of like around her waist type deal.
Why did you get on her like that?
I just, when we got on the bed, that's just what I got on.
Is that so she would listen to you?
I felt like she could probably listen to me just laying beside her, but I got on top of her. And every time I think about it, I'm just like, did I know I was going to do that before I got on top of her? I don't know.
I think he knew. When this conversation started, he knew there was going to be a fight. I wish that Shanann knew something was up and that she got out of bed and she got away, got at least arm distance away, could have saved her life, but she's being mounted by a human who's twice her size, not expecting any type of lethal attack to happen. She's never been attacked before. And I bring this up specifically because this case is 100% proof that you don't have to see a history of violence to, be at high risk for, domestic violence. This one event resulted in the death of not just one person, but 4 people. One time that Chris crossed the line and he killed a bunch of people. He ruined the lives of a bunch more people. Anybody who knew Chris, their lives were affected. Anybody who's ever had a conversation with him, whoever thought he was a good guy, all of those lives have changed after this one event. It's insanity to me that he didn't think, I should leave. I should go somewhere else. All he had to do was go get a hotel and figure it out tomorrow. There are people with no money who survive. No house, they survive. He would have survived. Things might not have been okay, but everything would have been okay.
Really? That's an interesting thought, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know if you knew.
Just like the whole everything that happened that morning, I don't know. Like I try to go back in my head. I'm just like, I didn't want to do this, but I did it. Everything just kind of like.
I felt like you had to.
It just felt like it was.
Yeah, I kind of wish Tammy doesn't lead him in these things. She's already like kind of given him ideas a couple times already for the things that he said afterwards. And I think it kind of fuels him like exaggerating, if not flat out lying about any of this. But I understand why she's doing it. She's trying to keep him talking, trying to take some of the pressure off of what he's trying to articulate. To make it easier for him, but I kind of wish she didn't at the same time, because I would really like to know what he would have said without that, leading kind of statement that she made a couple times.
I don't even want to say it. I felt like I had to. I just felt like there was already something in my mind that was implanted that I was going to do it, and I woke up that morning and it was going to happen, and I had no control of it.
You never thought about it before?
It was just like, I don't want. When, like you said, like in the sentencing hearing, that prosecutor said it takes 2 to 4 minutes, something like that to happen. Like, why can't I just let go? I didn't.
Oh, that's interesting.
Okay, just let
Was
go.
it feeling like it was in motion and you just couldn't stop it?
Yeah, it was just like, I don't even want to know what she saw when she looked back at me, honestly.
Did you look at her? What was she doing?
She looked fighting.
Why do you think she wasn't fighting?
See, Roy's mama, you've got a good point. Why didn't he bring this up at the time? And there is like a cycle, like if you look at that, if you try to answer that question with psychology, there are reasons why things wouldn't get brought up in front of police. If he was actually, if there really was shady things happening, and, Chris could have been the type that, paints his world differently than it really is, like a partial delusion where he dumbs down the situations and, defends Shanann rather than like present the situation for what it really was. And that's entirely possible that is true. I kind of don't believe it. I don't like to talk bad about Shanann just because she can't defend herself. I know that humans are all human. We all have multiple sides. We have, good days. We have bad days. Sometimes we have good days, good hours and bad hours all in the same day. I mean, there's a lot of things that happen in a person's life. And, that doesn't necessarily mean you're a terrible person or that you have a problem. I think both of these people should have been in counseling, at least for themselves, if not for each other, to protect their marriage, to give their kids a better life. They didn't do any of that. Chris Watts comes across as this passive aggressive a-hole. He's finally had enough. In 2018, on that night that Shanann comes home from the airport at 1 something in the morning, sometime between when she gets home and when he backs his truck into the driveway before he leaves for work, she dies. We don't know when exactly. We don't know how exactly. We just know that they found her body buried in a shallow grave at his work site. It's crazy to think about. I mean, it's hard to think about this case. None of it makes sense at all. I think Chris Watts wouldn't have been so angry about this had he not had a girlfriend on the side. I think that girlfriend made him feel, more alive, more stronger. But think about what I had already said, where he's, picking up the personality of the other person, the people in his lives. So Nicole Kessinger probably is a stronger person. And Chris Watts kind of assumed that identity too. So maybe Nicole Kessinger didn't actually say, Chris, it's me or Shanann, but her personality rubbed off on him. So he felt like he had to push this and end the relationship. And we all know what happens. It's tragic.
Maybe she was praying. Maybe she was just. I read the Bible. It said, or the scripture says, don't forgive these people, for they do not know what they do. Maybe she was saying that. I don't know what she was saying in her head, but she, like when you guys told me, take off your shirt and check for defensive wounds, and there wasn't going to be any. She didn't fight. I don't know why.
So she didn't grab. Could she grab your arms, or were her arms pinned down, or?
Not that I remember. I don't think so. I mean, I don't think I moved toward my knees or around her arms or anything. But.
See, I think he got a good look at her, and I think he recognizes the moment where she realized she was about to die. And that was a moment where he could have stopped, but he didn't. I think he remembers that vividly, guys. But I'm going to play a little bit more of this, maybe get through this part. But I am going to have to leave in about 10 or 15 minutes.
It's just kind of like when I got on top of her, we started talking. That was it. It's kind of like in my head, or in the back of my head, that was going to happen. And just at the end of the conversation, it was just that's what happened. I just wish I could have let go.
Did it seem like it was that long, 2 to 4 minutes? How long did it seem for you?
Almost kind of felt like it was longer almost, because it felt like time was standing still. It's kind of like I just saw my life just disappearing before my eyes, but I couldn't let go. It was like somebody else, like if you picture somebody else around you, holding your hands, holding you, keep you from not letting go.
The amount of rage it's got to take for this to happen, it's hard to believe it, but if you're strangling somebody, there's the carotid arteries or whatever they are right there. There's a thing called a blood choke. You press on those big giant blood veins for less than 10 seconds and you can make somebody pass out. He says he remembers it being a really long time, but she had passed out. She had gone limp, and he continued to not let go. He knew what he was doing. He was in control. He could have let go, he would have probably got away with like probation or something. Maybe even got the charge reduced from a felony to a misdemeanor, even if he would have just let go. But he didn't. And, I like to point this out because, this was one time, one event. And, there are people who are living in relationships like this. Maybe some of you watching are, and you don't think they would actually really hurt you. But if there's ever been violence in your relationship, it's more likely to end in a lethal situation than what happened with Chris Watts. There is no known instances of any kind of violence at all. And the first time that there was, this is the result. And Creamy Rose touching on some of the conspiracies I've heard about. And it does make sense to some degree that it seems unlikely that Chris Watts did it. I still believe that Chris did it. I think that he was angry enough, fed up enough, his whole life, everything was wrong in his life. And this moment was the only time in his life where he was actually himself, and it resulted in 4 deaths.
At some point there was a statement about rage. Do you feel like you were in a rage at that point?
That's the only way I can describe it, honestly. Like a snap. Something. I know. I guess my attorney had said like some, strangulation is more of like a, I don't know, passionate type thing. I'm just like, I don't know how that can be passionate.
It's just intimate because you're right in there, using your own hands. It's a lot different than someone standing across the room and you shooting them or something like that. So
I just don't think anybody realizes the amount of time it takes after you pass out to actually die like this way. It's insane that somebody can do it. It really is. Like if you're in an MMA fight and, the ref, breaks things up, but even if the ref doesn't break it up for like, an extra 30 seconds or so, you're not going to die. You're probably just going to have a headache afterwards. But it takes a long time to die this way. And it makes Chris Watts even more of a monster than somebody who uses a weapon, for example. He is a monster.
I just felt like somebody was like behind me, just like, I just couldn't let go.
It's interesting to me because there was a lot of things in your life that were like that, right? Where you're just like, maybe felt out of control, or maybe felt like, I don't know why I couldn't take a step back, or, like even when you said, when your buddy was like, let's go to the football game, you wanted to say yes, you couldn't.
Yeah, I wanted to. Like, I hadn't been to a football game since North Carolina, so I was just like, yeah, sure. Like, I wanted to say that.
Yeah.
I wanted to just text him, hey, maybe it fell through, you can't. Go. Yeah.
So, then what?
Just after, Shanann was, I guess, once that was, once she was gone, it was just like, I didn't know what was going on. It's like, it was like a traumatic, I don't know what you call it, traumatic event type, and everything, and like, I was shaking, I didn't know what had happened. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what I had done.
He knew what he done.
I still wasn't in that right state of mind. I don't think like I was in control of what I could think or what I could do at that point in time. Like most people say, like, why don't you just call 911? Why don't you, like, unless you're in that situation, you don't know. We don't know what you would have done. It's easy to play Monday morning quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that.
like I said, if somebody shoots somebody, you don't know what they was going through their mind at that point in time.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know what you'd have done.
So what happened next?
Bella came in.
Is that what happened? Bella came in. What she said?
Well,
Did she hear something? Is that what she did?
obviously, I think.
Okay. What'd you tell me?
Just not feeling so good.
And then, did that happen with Bella right in that room?
Not proper.
What happened?
She walked in as, you know, she's talking about she was sleeping. And
Did you take her back to her room?
put Shannon in that sheet and found the site.
Okay. And what?
Carried her downstairs and backed my truck up.
At that point, were the girls still there? Okay. So then Shanann's in the truck. Then went back to the house.
Got everybody back in the truck.
Was Bella first or was Cece first?
In the truck.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So Shanann was first, and then Bella was next. Was Bella alive when you guys got in the truck? Oh, okay. What happened?
Going back up.
Okay.
Because I don't really want to talk about this part, honestly.
This is the hardest part of this to hear. And I don't believe that the girls were alive. I don't believe that I don't know actually what I believe, because I've seen some footage where you can see an interior light coming on inside of his truck. I know that there's a lot of photoshopped footage out there of this where you see another person and all these weird things, but you do see the dome light coming on inside the truck. And when I think of that, and I think of children being put in the car, part of me believes him that they were alive when they got in the truck, because they weren't in their car seats. They would have been just sitting in there. And the one thing that kids do when they're alone in a car is push buttons all over the place. They, open things. They do all the things that they're not supposed to do because they're children and they're curious. And a child would fully believe that their mom was not dead if their father, who they trust, tells them that she's alive, that she's not feeling well. I believe that part, but I'm not sure. I'm honestly not sure. I think it would have been harder for him to do this an hour later, after the heat of the moment's over, driving for an hour, still being that angry, and then committing the murder of the children. I have a hard time believing that's possible.
Those are my kids. It's my baby. I just talk to them every night. I don't see it on the screen.
Okay.
Every time I see pictures of them, I don't know how this could have happened.
And see the way he's talking about it right now, he hasn't even gotten, he's in his story, he has not gotten to the oil site, the work site yet. And he's devastated. Well, at least, I don't know. It sounds more real, more authentic than other parts of the conversation, just the way he's having a hard time talking about it. Like the amount of power coming out of his voice, he's getting quieter, more whispery, like he's trying to say, but he isn't saying it. That, I think, is a little harder to fake than some of the other things that he's done and said.
Being a dad was the best part of my life. I took it all away.
I think that's the hardest part for us, Chris, is we see those videos, we see that love that you had for your girls, like it's obvious to us. And even to us, it's hard for us to understand how a dad who's given piggyback rides and, you know, making snacks and watching princess movies and those kinds of things, how you get to that point, you
I
know?
don't know. It's just, like I said, it was just like something else was controlling me that day. I had no control over what I was like to fight back.
Yeah.
Like when that prosecutor said it felt a bitter tongue, like repeatedly, I just wanted to just bang my head up against the wall.
So you put Shanann in the truck and then you put the two girls in the truck? Were they just sitting in their car seats or I guess they didn't probably have car seats in your truck, did they?
No, it was sitting in the back with the, like in that bench sheet.
So Shanann was back there too?
She was on the floor.
What did they say about Shanann being on the floor?
Not be okay.
What'd you tell them?
She'll be fine.
Did you have their stuff with them? Like their toys and their blankets and stuff?
They had something with them that they carried. One of them, I think, at CCM Bella had like a blanket or something with them.
Mm-hmm.
Like a pink blanket or.
What about the dog? I think one of them had a dog, right? That talked or dog.
Yeah,
CC.
yeah, one of them had like a little barking dog.
Was that with you too? Do you know?
I think it was. Trying to, it's hard to remember. Like if
Yeah.
they had like the big blanket, small.
See you later,
blanket.
Tori. Thanks. Because I am going to have to cut this short.
So,
I'm going to give it about another
I
5
saw,
minutes.
on the video that you put a gas can or something in the back of your truck. Is
Mhm.
that right? Did you have different plans when you put that in there?
I don't know what was going through my head. I felt like maybe I could just get rid of myself at the same time if I was doing all this.
The gas can is part of
Yeah.
another
Think about that?
conspiracy theory that's popular.
What'd you think about that?
I didn't feel like I deserved to live after what had happened.
Was there any thought to the whole family going away that day, to include you?
After everything happened, that's a definite thought.
Yeah. See, it's interesting to me. We had all kind of wondered if there was a point when you were all together and if you were all going to pass together. That to me makes sense, because that's, even though it sounds crazy, that's what a family man does, right?
Family man doesn't do what he did.
No, I know. I guess what I mean is, it seems like you guys were going to be together forever in that way. Is that maybe what was going through your head?
Honestly, I just felt like I didn't deserve to live.
Yeah.
And it was like, whatever judgment I was going to come upon myself, you know, I just didn't deserve to be on this earth anymore.
Mhm.
What happened?
Okay.
So what made you not do that? Do you think?
I don't know if it was just more of like a, because with the site, maybe it was just more of like I would have hurt more people than just me and everybody else. Like I know there's other people out there, not like at the site, but other people like maybe out in the area. Like I didn't want something like on the site to catch fire and blow up, and then other people around would get hurt in the same.
So you were thinking initially about starting a fire out there or an explosion or something, or?
Just no, not for that. Just like maybe I could just take care of myself and not like that.
Wow.
Gasoline, that's the only thing you do. I mean, I don't have a gun. I don't have anything like that. I don't like to just commit suicide that way. But
So
it's
just
just
to blow yourself up?
I mean, it was just I wasn't thinking.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
It was. I mean, I don't have weapons. I've never hunted before in my life. I don't know what. I mean, nothing was right that morning.
Yeah. I remember you kept telling me that. You kept saying, I didn't know what I was doing, Tammy. I didn't know. Like,
Yeah, you asked me about the sheet. Like, what were you doing? Like, I don't know what I was doing.
yeah. I think you were just like in automatic mode, or it seemed like. So did you drive straight out there? So what were you thinking on the way out there?
It's kind of like what I'm doing right now. I'm just like, nervous, shaking, not knowing like, what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Like I know like my life is completely changed. I don't know like what's happening. Like honestly, like I try to picture that whole ride, like it's like 45 minutes to an hour ride out there. And it's just like, couldn't I have like saved my girl's life? Couldn't I have done something? Why did I do that? I don't know.
Right.
Like this is my flesh and blood. This is like what I wanted all my life, was to be a dad, just to have, kids, and they love me, they, all that, and it just nothing made sense.
Right.
Like the oil tank, nothing made sense. I'm just like, what the doing?
Mm-hmm.
Well, guys, I'm going to stop this right here. The last thing that I'm going to point out is that there's a lot of irony in him considering strangers, and he isn't considering how the fallout of what he's done to the people that he is related to his in-laws. I mean, the family and friends are deeply impacted by this, and he's worried about, if he blew the thing up, that maybe somebody else would get hurt, but he has no thought of his own family or his own close friends at all. It just makes no sense to me. And this next part of this, where he explains that hour-long drive and how he ended the lives of his kids, this part of this story is what gives me nightmares. I mean, I can't imagine what those kids must have felt. It's horrific, man. It's terrible. But guys, I do appreciate you hanging out with me. I know it's been a long stream. We didn't get all the way through. Yeah, but please hit the like button and make sure you subscribe if you're not subscribed. Let your friends know about this video so we can, get it seen. And we can talk about it some more. I know I've talked about this case a lot, and I've watched lots of videos and other people talk about this case a lot, but this is a heavy story, and these are real people, and this is one of the most ordinary people who turn into a murder that I've ever come across. I mean, that's, I think, what makes this case stand out so much to me. I fully believe that Shanann Watts had no idea that Chris would even lift a hand to her, let alone kill her. I don't think it was ever a thought, no matter how mad they were at each other. I think there was zero fear at all until that night. And by the time she realized it, it was too late. But yeah, guys, thanks for hanging out. I hope you have a good rest of your Sunday, and make sure you hit the like button and subscribe. As always, be kind, stay vigilant, and always question the truth. I'll catch you in the next video.